A big playoff game as number 7 New Bedford travels to number 2 Newton North in the Division One South playoffs. That's happening Saturday at 1 o'clock, and this is definitely going to be a tough game for the Whalers.
Yeah, Newton North is a hike from here. First you have that long drive, and also the Tigers they compete in the Bay State Carry Conference, which if anybody knows anything about football in the area, that's a pretty tough conference. And they're actually 7-0 on the season, and they've outscored their competition 202 to 58. So they're not giving up much points, and they're putting a lot on the board. And they've held the opposition to a touchdown or less in 6 of their 7 games. So this is going to be a tough task for a New Bedford team that's lost 2 straight games. Mm-hmm. 2 weeks ago they lost to Dartmouth, and they only were able to score once against the Indians. And then last week it was a spirited effort against Brockton, and they actually were leading 21-20 in that game, and they ended up losing 28-21. But their offense is taking a big hit. Hector Diaz has a concussion, and it looks like he may be out for the rest of the season. And he's one of their top running backs. So Chandler DeBross is going to have a lot more on his shoulders. He's had a strong season throwing the ball and also rushing the ball as well. But he's only one person, so they're going to need other players to stand up. If they're going to have a shot against Newton North. And somebody who's going to be called upon to do a lot is Jonathan Morez. He's been kind of solid for them this year with Hector Diaz, and he's going to have to pick up more of that load. And hopefully this week they find somebody else that can help and fill in that. Because you don't want just one option out of the backfield. You want a couple different weapons, and
Sure.
We'll see if somebody can kind of emerge, as a second back to Morez. But really, just getting back on track, and it's going to be tough, because Newton North, in last week's win over Dedham, Christian Cox, he had 3 passing touchdowns, and he also ran for 2 touchdowns in that game. And their top defensive player is a senior linebacker, Andrew Danuki, and he had 13 solo tackles and 3 for losses. So he's kind of anchored that stingy defense that Newton North has had all season. So I'm sure he'll be keen in on DeBross and some of their the top wide receivers, Flugel and Raposa, and some of the other guys out there. So it'll be a battle for New Bedford this week, but they made it in the playoffs, the Whalers. So I'm sure they're going to make the most of the opportunity.
And that'll be happening Saturday at 1 o'clock. You can follow along on Twitter at SC_varsity and talk about the game using the hashtag SCVfootball.